Hello, welcome again to the lecture series on Control Systems Engineering. In this session, let us discuss time response analysis. First, let us understand the meaning of complementary function and particular integral. Complementary function and particular integral. Then let us differentiate transient response and steady state response, and define the standard test signals that we use for time response analysis. Then perform time response analysis on first order system. And also let us look at how exactly design parameters affect system response. So let me just read out these statements and clarify in the next slide. Control systems are called upon to perform both under transient as well as steady state response, steady state conditions. Right? Self-explanatory. Anyway, I'll explain that. A feedback control system has the inherent capability that its parameters can be adjusted to alter both its transient and steady state behavior. And this together we call it as time response behavior. Time domain response is the study of system response as a function of time for a given input or stimulation. Okay. What we mean by all this? Look, in the last chapter, our focus was how to get this transfer function. Now the focus of this chapter is bring this R of S here now. This is called Laplace transform the input. Let us define different types of signals. So we define step, ramp, parabolic, impulse. Correct. Then we will we'll develop that equation for ramp input, then step input, parabolic input, impulse, and for RFS we'll substitute this. We know this equation. We'll multiply this equation with this one and then split this into partial fractions. We'll take inverse Laplace. We are going to get C of t. Then let us study the response with respect to time for a given stimulus. Right? That's what the idea here is. Now you see here, when we get that C of t like this, suppose if you have the differential equation, assuming certain initial condition, let me solve, then there are two parts in the solution. One is complementary function part and the other one is the particular integral part. C of pi we call it. This part, so if I give different initial conditions, I'll get different values. This part I call it as complementary function part, and this part I call it as particular integral part. This part of the solution is time dependent. You can see here, time dependent. And it is minus over here. As t increases, this becomes smaller and smaller and vanishes. But for small values of time, this is dominating. But whatever be the value of time, this value remains same. So this we call it as steady state response and this we call it as transient response. So it is like this. Only let me plot transient y of t versus time. Same in t is equal to 0, e to the power 0, 1, the value of y of t is 1/2. As t increases, this response will die like this. Okay, when infinity, it will completely die down. So other one, steady state response, whatever be the time, its value remains the same, right? That is steady state. Okay, so we'll focus on transient response here. So I hope you understand now the meaning of this, right? So total response of the system is sum of transient response and steady state response. So another response here I have shown, right? You can see now for an input, this is the output plot, this is the input of a system. You see here it oscillates like this with larger amplitude to begin with. Gradually the amplitude will die down, and finally almost the amplitude becomes very, very small. When t becomes infinity, it will become 0. That means in the beginning the transient response is dominating. As the time increases, transient response will die down. So that is what here I have shown, transient, and after that it is steady state response. So let us focus on this region. Okay, right. As I mentioned, which are the standard test signals we have? Step, ramp, parabolic, impulse. Let us now talk about sinusoidal signal, which we'll study in the frequency response. How do we define step signal? R of t is equal to 0 for t less than 0. R of t is equal to a for t greater than 0. See here, this is R of t, input versus time graph. The value of R of t is equal to 0 for t less than 0, negative time. At t is equal to 0, the value jumps from here to here to a finite value. For t greater than 0, it remains same. Okay, let us say this value is what we call it as some finite value a. This is the definition. It is a step. Suppose, imagine I have a electric bulb. Correct? Electric bulb I have. When before switching on, the current flow is 0. Moment I switch on, the current value reaches to some amp, let us say 1 amp. Okay, then it remains same. So it is step input. This is what I'm talking about. Now, how to express this step input in Laplace form? Laplace of R of t is equal to 0 to infinity e to the power of minus st R of t dt is our definition. Correct? Laplace of R of t will be R of s. Then 0 to infinity e to the power of minus st R of t is a dt. Now integrate, you will get a by s. If the value of a is equal to 1, R of s is 1 by s, then it is unit step input. Same way ramp signal. It is defined as R of t is equal to 0 for t less than or equal to 0. R of t will become at. It's a ramp. So a value is nothing but this constant slope. Okay. So many centimeters per second. So it becomes velocity. So R of t is equal to 0 for t less than 0. R of t is equal to at for t greater than 0. Again, you substitute in the Laplace equation. You are going to get R of s is equal to 1 by s square. This is called unit ramp input. next is parabolic input. This we define as r of t equal to 0 for t less than or equal to 0. R of t equal to, its convenience sake I have done this, half at square. So here meter per second square. So this acceleration input. So after integrating, you will get this a by s cube. If I put a equal to 1, then unit parabolic input is 1 by s cube. Then impulse input. So it's just a input of finite magnitude applied for very short duration. That's what we call it. So impulse, simply unit impulse is 1 unit, 1. Okay, that's how we define this. These are the inputs. Once we have got the inputs, now let us look at the response of first order systems. Now let us consider first order mechanical system. So this is a first order mechanical system. In my earlier lecture, I have derived the transfer function. Now divide this, what we have got, k divided by fs plus k, it is stiffness, this is damping. Then divide numerator and denominator by k, I will get this. This f by k I replace by t, that is time constant. So I'll tell you why it is time constant. So the transfer function in general, it is 1 by ts plus 1. Similarly, we have derived the transfer function of the electrical system, and I have expressed this as 1 by ts plus 1. And for liquid level system, again we have got the transfer function as 1 by ts plus 1. Thus, in general, all first order systems can be represented by a transfer function C of s by R of s is equal to 1 by ts plus 1. Okay, I got the transfer function. I know the type of inputs also. Now let us study transient response of first order system subjected to unit step input. So C of s by R of s is equal to 1 by ts plus 1. I'll bring R of s to the right now. I'll get this. Unit step input means R of s is nothing but 1 by s. Substitute 1 by s here. C of s will become 1 by s ts plus 1. Now I want C of t, so I have to take it back to time plane. I have to take inverse Laplace. That's why I split this into partial fractions. It is a by s plus b by ts plus 1. Then take LCM, then compare coefficients. You will get this equation. From this equation, we get a equal to 1 and b is equal to minus t. Substitute a equal to 1, b is equal to minus t. So you'll get C of s is equal to this. If I take inverse Laplace, this becomes C of, okay, now next, I'll divide the numerator and denominator by t and I'll get in this form. Now I'll take inverse Laplace. C of t is equal to 1 minus e to the power of t minus t. Observe here. Here, this is not time dependent. This is steady state part of the response. This is time dependent. This is the transient part of the response. Okay, the whole thing is, let us see here. Draw this time curve. This. Okay. What is the, this is, let us first draw R of t versus time. Input versus time. I have given unit step input. This is the one. This value is 1. Let us calculate output. First, let me put t is equal to 0 in this. E to the power of minus 0 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So output is 0. Let me put t is equal to 1 capital T. So e to the power of minus 1. Then if I do the calculation, I'll get 0.632 as output. At t is equal to this, so measure 0.632 and mark that point. Similarly, 2t if you calculate, you will get 0.865, mark that point. 3t you will get 0.95, mark that. At 4t you will get 0.982, mark that value. If I go on increasing, it will become like, smaller and smaller. When t becomes infinity, this will become 0. Now you join all these points. Okay, join all these points. This is what the response is. And finally, this will meet this one. The system will attain steady state. You look at t is equal to t, the input value is 1, but the system shown an output of only 0.632. If you want to understand, suppose I have a thermometer, let us say. Correct. Now I put this thermometer in a bath of, let us say, 100 degrees Celsius. It is 100. So this is what input value is, 100. Output is the rise of this mercury column. Correct. Mercury column. Say the mercury column initially, right? Okay, room temperature, let us say, it is somewhere up to 30 degree already there. If I dip this, it will start rising slowly. Right. It rises slowly. Then it will attain 100 degrees Celsius. When it will attain, theoretically, it will not show that 100 degrees Celsius. Exactly. When t becomes infinity only, it should show. So that is the meaning. This green line, what I am talking about, the response of the thermometer. Thermometer is also a first order system. So this is moment I have dipped in. Initially it was in room temperature. I dip in. I have given a step from, let us say, 30 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius. Step I have given. Then that's how it responds. Correct? So now you see, what is this capital T? This capital T, we call it as time constant. Call it as time constant. Very important one. Time constant. The definition of time constant is time taken by the response to show 63.2% of the final output. The time taken by the system to show 63.2% of the final output, we call it as time constant. And normally, time constant unit is seconds. Okay, seconds. Normally, 4 time constant is around 98%. So we say when it achieves this value, the system has attained something like steady state. Okay. You know that time constant is nothing but resistance capacitance value. By adjusting resistance capacitance value, we can get the time constant. So there is a limit beyond which it is very difficult to reduce the time constant value. So R and C product. So can we make time constant 0 means whether R should become 0 or C should become 0. Then the system, no more. It's a first order system, right? No more, right? So then it is not possible to have this. Only thing is we can limit these values. So what time constant you want? Suppose total time should be 4t and the time constant is around 0.25 seconds. Correct? 4t is equal to 1, if it is 1 minute, then time constant is here is around 0.25 minute. It is around 15 seconds. Right? Suppose if your doctor asks you to keep this thermometer in your mouth for a minute, okay, then it's almost, to show 4 time constant, it is taking 1 minute and the time constant is 15 seconds like this. So that's how the first order systems, by adjusting these parameters R and C, it is possible to, make the system respond faster or slower. Same way we'll study the transient response of the first order system subjected to unit ramp input. Now R of S is 1 by S square. Now you substitute R of S is equal to 1 by S square. Now it is A by S, B by S square, C by Ts plus 1. Comparing coefficients, you take LCM, comparing coefficients now. Find the A value, B value and C value. You'll get B is equal to 1. Then A equal to minus T, C equal to T square. Then substitute back into this A, B and C and take inverse Laplace, you will get this. Okay. So R of T versus time graph is this ramp input. Now your C of T should be plotted by substituting value for T, and it will become like this. Sorry, finally it should attain steady state. T is the input. This should die down. Correct. So minus T difference will be there, even it, right? It's a constant value, there will be a difference. T plus minus T. Okay, right, sir. Now you can study the response for parabolic input too. Only thing is R of S should be 1 by E, 1 by S cube. So now you have got A by S, B by S square, C by S cube, D by Ts plus 1. Now find A, B, C. Correct. Then substitute over here, take inverse Laplace. You will get the output. Again, you can plot the response. If it is impulse, as I mentioned, R of S is simply 1 by T, S 1 by T. Then C of T is equal to 1 by e to the power minus T by T. When system is subjected to impulse, then the response is when T is equal to 0, e to the power of minus 0, 1 by T. T is small means the response will be very large. As the T increases, the response start decreasing. It becomes 0 when T becomes infinity. So suppose you are driving, you hit some obstacle, the stress will be very high, but it will slow down, reduces like this. So it is something like impulse effect. Okay, the best is somebody slaps at you, your response will be very, very high in the beginning, but slowly you cool down. That's the idea. So this how this first order system respond to step, ramp, parabolic and impulse inputs. Right. So in the next session, let us talk about how exactly second order systems behave. Right. Now at this point, let us stop. And thank you.